Hey, what's going on, guys? Talk Movies with us here, back again for another Patreon requested movie review.
Yes, this has been in the works for quite a while.
Yes.
And we do apologize to Justin Alvarez, who requested for us to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show. We do apologize that it's taken us so long. You know, we've been crazy busy. He's been working a new shift, and
yeah,
but here it is.
But here it is. Better late than never.
Yes.
So, yes, he requested us to watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Of course, starring the great Tim Curry, Susan Sarandon, Barry Bostwick.
Richard O'Brien, who actually wrote the original musical, and it is directed by Jim Sharman. And this movie is a complete cult classic. Like, if you look up cult classic in the dictionary, Rocky Horror Picture Show is probably at the top.
Yeah, I mean, this was always one of those movies that I've always seen in the background, and, you know, you always saw it in Best Buy and put it down. It's one of those movies I stayed far away from my entire life. Just because I know it's not my cup of tea. I could just look at the cover and say, I don't really feel like watching this. But we got it, you know, requested to us to watch.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a good thing, because you needed to, everybody needs to experience the Rocky Horror Picture Show at least one time in your life. Whether you're into musicals or not, I'm not a huge musical person myself. You know, I mean, except for Disney movies, of course, if you count those. I'm
not a musical guy whatsoever, which is probably one of the main reasons why I stayed far away from it. Although a musical of, you know, recently that I did love, I really did enjoy the music of it, is The Greatest Showman.
Yeah.
I am not afraid to admit it, but the music in that movie was freaking phenomenal. I mean, that's the exception. But,
you know, if there was a Rocky musical, you would totally watch it.
But it actually was on Broadway. I missed it, though. It's all
there really was?
Yeah, it's strange. But I heard it was actually decent.
That's almost like the SpongeBob musical.
Ugh,
it's
yeah.
weird.
Why do we need that? But anyway,
okay,
long story short, Rocky Horror Picture Show. You know, I'm not here to rag on it, because I could easily do that. I didn't hate myself for watching it. I'm glad I got to experience the very strange weirdness of it.
Before we talk about it too much, let's give a quick rundown about what the Rocky Horror Picture Show is, because not everybody has seen it. I think mostly everybody has seen it.
Probably.
But if you haven't and you're watching this review, what it's about
is... I mean, it's been around a long time.
Yeah, since the 70s. We have Brad and Janet. Damn it, Janet. You know, their car breaks down and they need to use a phone, and the closest house in the area to where they broke down is this gigantic castle.
Talk about bad luck, right?
So they go to this castle, they knock on the door. Who answers the door? We have Riff Raff, played by Richard O'Brien. Riff Raff is definitely a special character. And all they want to do is use the phone, and when they step inside... You know?
They're in for more than they bargained for, put it that way.
Yes, there's a lot that goes on in this movie. I mean, Tim Curry, you know, is almost like Frankenstein. He has this monster, you know, they're singing, they're dancing. There's a lot going on in this movie. It is a very unique movie. It's
very colorful.
Yes, it is very colorful. You know what? Listen, let's break it down. The music in this movie is amazing. I absolutely... I love the music, and even if I don't ever watch the movie again, I will listen to the music.
No, not me. I mean, I will say...
You just said you weren't going to rip this movie apart.
I'm not ripping it. It was, the music, you know, definitely some songs are very, you know, they're more catchy than others.
But they're rock, you know, it's like a rock type, you know.
Meatloaf, baby. Gotta give a quick shout out to my man Meatloaf, because he's the man, you know, bitch tits Bob.
He does make a great cameo.
Yes. Meatloaf, he's the man. No, the music is definitely catchy. It's definitely catchy.
You know, the Time Warp is one of the most well-known songs in probably history. I mean, this movie has
when I heard the song, The Time Warp, you know, I've heard it.
I mean, it's been in other movies. It's been played at parties. It's been played, you know,
I never knew the original. I never knew the original source material of it. I just thought Time Warp. I mean, not that I listened to this junk on a regular, but it's just something that you know I heard in the background. I guess growing up, the Time Warp song in movies and you know pop culture or whatnot. But I never knew the original you know source material. Now I'm glad now I know.
Well, you have experienced it.
It's an experience, definitely.
You know, the music is so iconic. I find it to be super catchy. You know, I really love it. And just to jump from the music to the performances, I mean, we did touch on Tim Curry's performance in the beginning, but, you know, he is iconic. You know, he has played Pennywise, he's played Dr. Frank-N-Furter.
I love you. If Craigie's watching. Home Alone 2. That was my first experience with him growing up. Keep in mind, I'm only 25.
Well, that's probably my first experience with him as well. But, then I went back and I've watched some of his other movies. But, Dr. Frank-N-Furter is one of the craziest characters in cinema history. And I'm going to say this, you can close your ears if you want to, but I mean, he's sexy in this movie. Sorry to say. But
wow.
I know Dr. Frank-N-Furter has something about him.
I'm gonna go throw up now.
Stop. He has that sex appeal, and that's what, he brings to this movie. And without him, this movie would not have been the same. I don't know of anybody else who could have been cast as Dr. Frank-N-Furter who would have done a better job.
I mean...
That's what I'm kind of getting at with that.
Who knows? I mean, it's one of those, I don't know who the hell you could cast in this kind of role and pull it off, but he does, man. He does. Yeah.
Well, they tried to remake it recently. They did it for TV, and I think it was an absolute
for TV,
flop.
That's why.
And of course, we have the beautiful Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, that's sexy. A young Susan Sarandon.
Yes, and you get to see her.
I'll say that.
You get to see her in her underwear for quite a while.
Now that's good. That was the saving grace for this movie.
Barry Bostwick back in the day. Not too bad looking as Brad, but... And then going back to the actual musical aspect of it, I mean, Susan Sarandon, I didn't know that she could sing. I actually had no idea before I had watched this movie. And then when I rewatched it and was aware that it was actually Susan Sarandon.
Yeah, she's a great actress. She's been in a ton of classics.
So she is fantastic in this movie. The whole cast really brings it together. They really cast some strange characters outside of the 4 or the 5 that we actually, know and see still today. But without the whole entire cast, the movie definitely wouldn't have been the same. They wouldn't have been able to pull it off.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, they're all, the main cast is so batshit crazy in their own way. And it's like one of those movies that's it's just so crazy and insane, and some scenes are weird to look at, but it's you can't look away.
No, it's definitely a movie that keeps your attention from the opening scene until the very end.
Yeah, like I said, guys, I don't hate the movie. I'm glad I watched it. It was entertaining. That's all I could say is it was just, I was entertained by it, and it definitely, I guess, kept my interest, but, yeah, I mean,
for some people who watch it for the first time, you have no idea where this movie is going. You can't predict what is going to happen in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I could see why I avoided all these years, but, it's not saying that I'm not upset that I watched it. It's just, it's not my forte, if you will. Even musicals in general, even The Greatest Showman, I do love the music in that movie. I just find it so random, breaking out into song and weird situations. It's just one of those things that I always found goofy.
Sometimes
not just with this movie, but just musicals in general. Just, they're a little goofy to me. That goes for all of them for the most part.
Yeah, sometimes it does feel a little out of place, but I think for this movie, because it is so out there and it's very weird and it's crazy and it's quirky, that it actually works. That they kind of just randomly break out into these songs, and it, like I said, it works. It works for this movie. I can't even get you to watch Moana with me, so he's not a musical guy.
Moana, I love Moana.
Moana,
you're welcome. The Rock.
You only know that though because I play it in the car.
I'll watch it one day. I don't have a lot of time on my hands right now.
No,
it's
60-hour work weeks.
Yeah, it sucks.
All right, so enough of us rambling. Most of you guys have seen this movie, you love this movie, or you hate this movie. You can let us know in the comments below, but we're gonna rate this thing.
Yes.
Or grade it, as you will. I'm giving this movie a solid B+. I had a great time with it. I'm not sure how long it'll be before I revisit it, but I will listen to the soundtrack. That's something I could definitely play, while I'm working. I could put this, soundtrack on Spotify. I might even buy the record. I'm giving it a solid B+. It's a great movie. It's an iconic movie, cult classic. And just to add one more thing, if I can find it, I'm sure that it does play around here to do one of those crazy midnight showings. I actually would love to experience that. I would probably have to go by myself. I might be able to...
Absolutely, you'll be by yourself. Unless you find someone else to go.
I might have some other friends who might be interested in going, but I think that it's something I want to experience one time in my life. They do some weird shit, so...
Yeah, I just, let me know how it is whenever you come across that. I could easily say... I won't ever watch this movie again, but I will give it a C for just being very, very entertaining. You know, I read, you know, people calling it the greatest cult film of all time.
Well,
I think that's a bit of a stretch, but it was a very entertaining film, and I see why people who are into musicals and stuff are into this. I could definitely see it. It's just for me, like, listen, even Justin, when he requested this, he knew, he just wanted us to make this review just to see my reaction of it. And, you know,
He's gonna side with me on this one again.
Everyone does anyway. It doesn't really matter. But listen, you know, thank you for requesting us to watch this one. And, you know, I don't hate myself for watching it. You know, you're broadening my horizons.
I think what you're trying to say is you can appreciate it for what it is.
Yes.
You know, it is such a well-known movie. It takes bits and pieces from lots of old horror movies and kind of combines it into one. You know, the nods to other movies is, you know, it's well known. So
absolutely. And you know what, just to see this movie for Tim Curry's just off the wall performance, just
amazing.
to experience one of his, you know,
I love him.
His iconic roles.
I love him.
I mean, the guy's a fantastic actor. You know, the guy could do anything.
Yes, he really can. He can sing, he can dance. He dances in heels. He could do it all.
He could bang anyone he wants to, and that's good. Tim Curry's the man. But yeah.
You know, thank you so much for watching this review. As always, guys, let us know in the comments below what you thought of the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Let us know what your favorite musical is. And maybe you have some suggestions that we can get George to watch some more musicals.
Yeah, and let me know your favorite Tim Curry movie besides the three mentioned, the three very popular ones, you know?
Yeah.
Besides Home Alone, It, and Rocky Horror
Picture Show.
Let us know your favorites besides those three.
All right, and as always, guys, we'll see you in the next video.
See you guys later.